Welcome to the Android Headline Show. Fasten your seatbelts. It's time to get your droid on. Every week we talk about all the latest Android news and rumors, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Welcome to the show. This is episode number 17. Today on the show, we're going to be talking about Samsung, HTC Apple deal, the Droid DNA, the top 10 worst Android phones of the year, and as well, the long-awaited Nexus launch tomorrow. So we have a really great show for you all, and I'd like to introduce my co-hosts. First, sitting off to the left of me is Alex the Great Maxim from Detroit Rock City. How you doing, Alex?
Pretty good. Good. How about you?
Doing good. Thanks for asking, buddy. The one, the only, Tom the Duke Dawson, coming to us from someplace near Buckingham Palace, near the Queen, in the royal monarchy. How you doing,
That's
Tom?
right. Not bad, not bad.
Good stuff. How's the weather? Weather update, Tom, from the UK. Rainy?
Not bad.
Let me guess.
No rain, no rain,
Holy crap.
but it's cold as fuck.
Somebody Twitter that. It's amazing. It's not raining.
Yeah, he sent
Alright.
it to us.
That'll be later in the day. And, as well, finally but not last, well, last but not least, is our Android diva, Christina from the Badger State, home of the Cheeseheads, Wisconsin.
Ooh, yeah. I'm doing good. Much better now.
Now that we throw down some street cred to your Wisconsin hood.
What?
Fuck. Fuck, please.
Catch that. Wisconsin people a little slower there. All right, guys. We got a good show coming up for you. And our first topic of the day is actually Verizon and HTC coming together tomorrow for a new device launch. And we have put out there, what the hell could this be? Well, I think unless you've been under a rock for the last week in Android news, it is the Droid DNA finally coming out. The Droid DNA is the 5-inch mysterious device we've been talking about forever. It's got a nice, beautiful design. Looks pretty hot. It's going to be released tomorrow. They're going to do a live unpacking on Google Plus as well. We've seen some press shots this week, and it's looking like a mighty fine phone. Right now, it's only scheduled to be released on Verizon. There's possibility that it could be released in Asia sometime coming soon. Maybe we might see something in Europe possibly in the future. If it'll have the Droid branding, not too sure. It comes with a nice 5-inch Super LCD 3 display at an amazing 440 ppi. Now, that is incredible screen display. So this thing is going to have some awesome, awesome display and graphics quality on there. And it's going to be no slouch with a quad-core Snapdragon S4 chip on there, 2 gigabytes of RAM, 8-megapixel camera, 4.11, and Sense 4 Plus. This is a pretty exciting device to be coming out for Verizon, who have had not such a best luck with their Droid line this year. What do you think of it, Alex? What's your take on this device?
I think it's going to be a pretty good competitor to the Note 2 if that ever gets released on Verizon.
Well, it's not quite as big, half an inch smaller,
Yeah.
which doesn't sound like much, but in the
But
terms
the
of
display
smartphones, that's
The
quite a
display
bit.
is so much better, though. It's like, what, 1080p
Mm.
versus
Yeah.
the Note 2 is 720p, I think.
So no, it's definitely going to have a beautiful display on it. Looking forward to that. And Verizon customers will be welcomed, you know, after putting up with some of the Droid devices lately. I think this one may restore the Droid brand and give them finally a device that they can be proud about and you know, is worthy of the Droid branding. What's your thoughts on this, Tom? Is this something you like? we've seen those specs, and it looks pretty hot.
Oh yeah, I mean, you know, I have the One X at 4.7, and I think 4.7 inches now is sort of the standard amongst you know, the larger side of Android phones. But you know, people say, oh well, you don't want to take the jump to anything bigger, but if you're taking the jump to 5 inches to get full HD 1920 by 1080p, that's not a bad trade-off when you come to think of it. You know, and coupled with the new S4 Pro and 2 GB of RAM, that phone could literally replace your 7-inch Android tablet. You can do anything on that phone. I mean, then there's no S Pen, but still.
Now earlier today, you had posted up some new renders of this device, the DNA, DLX, whatever they want to call it, where obviously on Verizon it's going to be the DNA. If it does come out anywhere, Europe, Asia, it's probably going to be DLX or that J Butterfly names that we've been hearing. But those were some pretty sharp-looking renders. We've only seen some fuzzy images in the past, some side shots and everything. And this is a really nice-looking device with the red flowing on the side and thin, very thin as well too. Nice-looking back to it. And for those of you at home that haven't seen it, you go to our website, check it out. We have some fresh press leaks images. Now from this images, Tom, I'm seeing some home buttons on there, some physical buttons.
I don't see, annoyingly, I don't see HTC getting rid of the physical buttons because it's the same layout that's on the One X and the One S. So, unfortunately, I don't see HTC moving away from them, which on a 5-inch device just sounds ridiculous.
I mean, are they worried that people really need physical buttons that they can't figure it out on a 5-inch screen?
I don't know. I don't know whether or not they think that because their back button is like an edgy arrow that they think that this is some kind of branding for them or something. But you know, I don't know why. I don't know why they're keeping it around. I think it's probably because traditionally HTC have been the kind of the manufacturer to sort of not follow trends. Like for instance, Samsung devices have had the power button on the side, as well as the new Nexus 4 from LG and a number of other phones. But HTC always put their power button at the top and other things like this. They just don't seem like they want to kind of change. And I mean, I think that was fine way back in February with the first ice cream sandwich phones. But you know, Jelly Bean's around now. They need to sort of catch up with the rest of them. Even Motorola, they're shipping phones with software buttons. Yeah.
Well, maybe they'll learn that Jelly Bean 1.1 or 4.2, or 0.2, whatever, but they actually have, navigation on screen. They don't need this stuff. But anyways, Christina, you're a Verizon customer. Is this a phone that interests you at all? Is this something that you'd like?
Yeah, possibly. I'm definitely excited for it because it's been a while for Verizon to get something that's actually pretty decent. So I do have the set mind when it does come out to go and play with it a little bit, see what it's like.
Because you're coming up for a contract renewal. Is a Nexus device in your future, which just happens to be launching on the same day, maybe steal a little bit of that DNA thunder? But are you more where are you leaning towards being a Verizon user?
Well, I'm definitely gonna stay with a Nexus if possible, but otherwise a good Droid phone. So we'll see what impresses me, what comes out.
Now, of course, the one crying shame about this new device is that it will only be on Verizon as of now, and probably will have exclusivity until the phone is outdated and no one wants it anymore except for people that are too broke to afford, a new device, and they give it away for free, which is a really shame because this is a really nice looking device and I would love to see it, thrown out on the other carriers. And we'll just keep harping on that until HTC changes their marketing or their tactics of releasing phones. It's only coming out on Verizon. That's a shame. I guess they had to fill their Droid quota for the year, and this is it. Although, give it credit, this is going to be probably the best Droid we've seen in years. So those of you Verizon customers at home, you're definitely going to want to check this out tomorrow as it gets announced, and an unboxing live on G+. We'll have all the details for you. So guys, let's move on to our next topic. It was something that kind of came out early last week a little bit. And, you know, I'm a little bit confused on this one myself personally. And that's Samsung has decided that they're going to do some rebranding and revamping of itself come CES 2013, which is in, I think, January 8th of next year at the Consumer Electronics Show. And I'm not really sure why Samsung needs to be doing rebranding or changing their logo or anything like that. I would have to think that Samsung's pretty well become a household name in the smartphone business, especially after this last summer with their epic battle with Apple, that they've pretty well, you know, might want to stick with the same logo and the same branding that they're doing, because they got the #1 selling phone in the world right now. Why would you go and change it? You know, has me wondering why. You know, are they tired of their logo? Are they just bored? They're looking for a refresh? You know, I think that they've just kind of come into their own. Is this good timing, do you think? Who's got an opinion on this? Or let me go to Tom. You got an opinion on why they would be doing this?
Well, I think they need to change. I don't think they're going to change the name. I think they're just going to kind of change their branding and
yeah,
sort
I
of
don't
try
think it's going to change from Samsung.
No, of course not. But I just think, you know, I just think that you know, like you said, they become a household name. But I think there's a difference between like a name and a brand. And at the moment, they have the brand that, you know, they're an electronics company that makes everything. Oh, and they make good phones at the same time. I think they're going to try and rebrand to sort of push the fact that they are, you know, tablets, smartphones, PCs, this kind of stuff.
A little bit of everything.
Yeah. Whereas at the moment, I think of Samsung as the company that make everything and also do phones. Whereas I think they want to swap it round, so they're the company that does, you know,
phones and makes some TVs too.
Yeah, you know, the sort of luxury sort of technology.
Well, they're supposedly going to do away with the Samsung logo, and is going to replace it with individual colors that will represent the individual product lines, which
what's all that about?
Whatever that means, according to this article, is
perhaps they really like the look of Windows 8.
So they're just going to have like blue, and that's supposed to represent that it's a phone, and red's going to be for the TV. So now they're going to patent colors possibly for their logo.
Well, I think Windows 8 already got there with Metro, but no, but I mean they appear to have got some. You know, they have the guy that used to be up that's headed up some of Nike's you know, advertising stuff, Scott Bedbury. So you know, it seems like they've got some good you know, got some good people working on it. And to be honest, I think that, you know, coming out of this year, they've had the big bust up in court with Apple. I think they want to sort of change, not like a huge amount, but just enough to sort of reinforce the fact that they're not just this South Korean company that makes everything and phones. That they're a company that, you know, is really good at making phones, tablets, the sort of technology of the future sort of thing, where they're, you know.
Well, it'll be certainly interesting to see what this rebranding has to take place. And I'm sure with the amount of trillions of dollars that they make, they'll be able to put together something decent marketing. We'll probably make fun of it and swear about it and trash the hell out of it when it first comes, but it'll probably be marvelous. Revolutionary, as Apple would say. Let's head on to our next topic, guys. You know, we don't want to beat that with too much of a dead horse. We don't really know what's going to be in play until CES. So our next topic is actually this weekend. Apple and HTC came into a license agreement, and they will now have no more court cases for the next 10 years, as they've decided to put the patent war between Apple and HTC to rest finally, and buried the hatchet, come to an agreement, and we will no longer have to be writing stories about lawsuits between Apple and HTC. We're very happy about that. I'm sure that the people at home are tired of hearing about it. So are we. So let's get into a bit of the details. You know, some of the details are a little bit scarce. They haven't been made public as of yet. Obviously, it's a 10-year agreement. It's between all of the products, between Apple and HTC, patent licensing. HTC obviously was the infringing company according to Apple, and there's talks that it could be as high as potentially anywhere from $6 to $8 on every smartphone sold.
Ka-ching!
That's a lot of dineros. Lot of dineros. Now, when you look at it overall, you were talking about, you know, potentially, you know, $250,000 a year in revenue just for Apple, just solely off of licensing fees for patents that I find a little questionable. But obviously, HTC did their homework, had their crew of lawyers on it, and felt like they weren't going to win, you know, this patent dispute with them. So rather than, you know, have a jury decide that you owe somebody billions of dollars, they've decided that they're going to get into a licensing agreement, which probably works out to $2.8 billion over the course of 10 years. So I'm not sure if they fared any well going to, you know, into this agreement, but they definitely saved themselves some potentially, you know, more costly litigation in the future. And I'm sure Apple is very happy as they have a nice chunk of change to go with their billions of dollars. So, you know, it is quite a bit of bucks. And one of the other things that is kind of interesting is that makes the 15th official Android patent license deal. 15. Now, you're saying, where do these all come from? A lot of them are through Microsoft that they have them, you know, these patent deals with. So now they're going to be handing out some cash to Microsoft. Now going to be some going to Apple. I think, you know, the problem is that you got Apple with their hand in the cookie jar now, HTC in their hand in the cookie jar. It's going to definitely narrow some of the margins on these phones for guys. And, you know, with HTC being first kind of to settle with Apple, really, you're going to start to see more companies doing it, you know, particularly Motorola and Samsung, some big ones. And this is definitely going to affect the industry and the bottom line pricing. Where do you guys see, as, you know, consumers and writers and stuff like that, how are your feelings in reaction to you know, these reports and what it's going to mean for Android? Let me go over to Alex here first. What are your thoughts on this, Alex? You hit up the 15th official Android patent license deal story. What do you think this is going to mean for Android?
At first, I was kind of thinking it might be like a cross deal between Apple and HTC, where because HTC is supposed to be suing Apple for LTE patents too. So I thought it was something for like HTC is paying Apple, Apple's paying HTC for their particular patents. But after the news that came out today, I'm not sure if it's the LTE patents are in there or not. But it could. I'm not sure what's going to happen.
It sounds like a one-way street. We're going to have to wait on some more information before we, you know, find out whether, you know, obviously it's not a great thing when you got to throw some of your money towards somebody else. HEC's already having a little bit of financial issues, so, you know, they're going to be writing a check for $280 million. That's going to hurt. That's going to hurt the bottom line. Tom, what do you think this is going to have effects on future Apple litigation with other manufacturers of Android? That this deal, you know, one of the problems is that it may have set a precedent for future deals, and other companies potentially are going to say, you know, maybe I just got to, you know, settle with these guys. Is that what the worry on the street seems to be?
It could, you know, it could, well, like you say, set a precedent, because whilst HTC haven't had a fantastic year, they are still one of the premium sort of Android manufacturers. You think of a handful of people and you want to go out and buy an Android smartphone, and HTC are one of them. So, there is the possibility that next time Apple try, bullying someone else, say, oh, well, you could just go the HTC route and license for X amount of dollars. And I think it comes down to how big a patent portfolio there is, how big the cojones are, because when you think about it, HTC had 300 odd patents, whereas Apple have thousands and thousands of patents. So I think it all depends on who it is. Like I don't think Apple could try this with Samsung. I don't think they could say, oh well, if you went the route with that, with Apple with HTC, we'll license. But smaller firms, I think Apple will probably enjoy some success with that because it's not done. It can't have done that much good for Samsung's reputation. So I think smaller companies, I think they probably will bend to big bad Apple's way. But I think bigger companies, I don't think Apple will. I think it'll go.
That's a great point you bring up, Tom, because HTC does not have, a nice, drawer full of patents. They're actually one of the companies with a thinner amount of patents, which is probably had a lot to do with this patent deal, is the fact that there wasn't a lot for them to capture back. They didn't have a lot of negotiating power when it comes to patents. A future deal with, say, Samsung or Motorola is going to be a total different ballpark, with both of those companies holding major amounts of patents and as well power in the in the industry and becoming from parts and supplies as well too. So it definitely makes the negotiations a lot harder. Apple's going to definitely find that HTC was probably the easiest or one of the easier companies that they're going to have to be able to settle with. So we will see that this probably won't be the norm, and I can't imagine Samsung dishing out $6 to $8 per device sold. That might
Apple would love that.
They would love that. What company wouldn't love that when you're sold 30 million, just a Galaxy S3 device?
I'll tell you why Apple would love that. In Q3, Apple sold 26 odd million smartphones. Samsung 56 million. So think about it. Apple could just give up and go, Samsung, just pay us $10 a phone.
That's right.
And we'll just bow out.
They could keep keep with what they're doing, and they wouldn't have to put out any new fancy devices, or just put out an iPhone 5S. Nothing creative about it, and they don't have to worry about the bottom line because Samsung's writing those big fat checks.
Yeah, I can see where this is going. I think what's going to happen is all the Android manufacturers are going to partner with Apple, and Apple are going to become the company that just doesn't give a shit and just going to stand up on stage and say, oh, it's no iPhone.
Yeah,
looks like
iPhone 6. It does the same thing as Android phones.
Yeah. Buy it, don't buy it, couldn't give a fuck.
Yeah, don't worry, we're making tons of money off of Android. We're fine.
Go buy an Android phone instead. In fact, buy two.
Exactly. Yes, don't buy an iPhone. We make more money off of Android.
Which is actually, curiously enough, how Microsoft probably made quite a lot of money, because
they do.
Windows Phone isn't that successful, so the more successful Android is, I don't think they're that bothered.
Now, don't quote me on it wrong, but there were some stories earlier this year that Microsoft was going to make a hell of a lot more money off of their 13 patent deals than they were with their Windows phones.
More than likely true.
Obviously, because their Windows phones aren't selling too much. Now, as a user, let's go to Christine. Just as an average user, how do you think that? What does this make you think of Apple? Does it give you those EBGBs that you just hate them more? I knew it does me. I just hate them more every day passing. Every time I read an article.
The funny thing about this is I'm really optimistic about this. I'm kind of hoping maybe this is Apple, finally calling the lawsuits quit. So that's exactly where I'm trying to keep my mindset right now, even though
she wants world peace and rainbows.
Even though the evidence proves otherwise. Because $6 to $8, when you add it up, is a lot. But if you look at the deal that they did with Samsung, they were asking for $20 to $30 a phone. So it's definitely
Very good point. It definitely is a lot more reasonable, and we'll see what happens when it shakes out when it's all done with these lawsuits. Maybe the companies are going to realize it's time to settle and get some more reasonable licensing deals with these patents. So let's move on from that. We always end up getting into these lawsuit stories, and sometimes it's just like they never stop. So hopefully this is the beginning of the end. Yeah, whatever. Anyways, let's move on to a fun topic that we had this week. We had our crack writer here, our associate editor, Alex the Great, had rolled out this weekend a really fun article that we had done last year, and as well we got this year's edition of the top 10 worst Android phones of 2012. Now, we're always talking about the great phones, the really fun stuff, the awesome stuff that everyone loves, but unfortunately, at the same time, some crap happens to get pushed out. We don't talk much about it. We're just kind of like, it's like that ugly child pushed to the back of the room. We kind of forget that he's there. Unfortunately,
don't talk to the kid in the corner.
They got to be dealt with at some point. And today we're dealing with the top 10 worst Android phones of 2012. Some surprises on here. For some people, maybe, or some people who are in denial. For most of us, though, not too many surprises. But let's go. Let's totally slam some phones. It's always fun. Alex, you want to start us off with what was the number 10 worst phone of 2012? What was it?
Well, number 10 was the HTC One V, which was announced back at Mobile World Congress back in February with the One X and One S.
And Tom, you were throwing some comments earlier. He's like, why is this one on there? Like, well, they put out the One S. We didn't need this phone, really. Like, were they giving it away for $2 or something? Was there a reason why it had to be released?
I think the thing with the HTC One V is that I just like the look of it.
Okay.
Well, and I just wish it had dual core.
That just goes to show that just because it looks good doesn't mean it's shit.
Come on, it's 512 megabytes of RAM. Ugh.
Exactly. It's pretty bad when, don't take this wrong, Christina, but when a girl's slamming the phone, it's bad.
Yeah.
All right. Yes. Alex, what was number 9 on the worst phones of 2012?
Number 9 was the Samsung Galaxy Victory 4G, which was
what the hell is this phone? I've never heard of it.
It wins
just released in September on Sprint.
September. Wow. It's pretty sad when they released it. What kind of screen does it have on it?
It's a 4.0 TFT at 800 by 480 resolution.
I didn't even know they still made those damn screens, except for like low-income, people in India or something. It's that horrible.
Where's my IPS? Come on.
Exactly. All right. That's a horrible phone. Let's move on to our next phone, number 8. What's number 8, Alex?
We've got the LG Lucid on Verizon.
The LG Lucid. This was actually a good phone when it kind of first came out, sort of, until people started using it. What was the problem with it, Alex?
I had quite a few Wi-Fi problems. People were unable to connect, which is a big problem if you don't have unlimited data on Verizon. That's kind of sucks.
Well, that's our number 8 phone. Our number 7 is not so stellar. What is it, Alex?
The Samsung Galaxy Stellar on Verizon again. God.
How could I have guessed? What was up with this device that got it on the list, Alex?
Once again, it's a TFT 4.0 4-inch display.
Now, there was something else on it that was just horrible. What was it?
Those on-screen buttons with they have a back button. Or not on-screen, physical buttons. Back button, home, recents, and a menu button.
Scary stuff. Scary stuff. and it had a nice dual-core 1.2. Pretty sad. Number 6, T-Mobile Magenta fans are going to hate us, but here it comes. What's number 6, Alex?
The T-Mobile MyTouch Q2 by Huawei. I think that's how you say them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, didn't T-Mobile get the menu that the MyTouch phones sucked all of them to begin with?
Well, that's why they have. That's why they have like. Oh my god.
Lost Alex. I think it was a T-Mobile fans or somebody who owned one of these phones hacked him into his router. He got knocked off.
Well, he does have T-Mobile on his Google Plus, so perhaps they were listening.
Yes, they were. So these MyTouch phones, they have been ugly since day one, and I know people love them and use them, and we'll probably get flamed, but these are some of the ugliest devices I've seen.
Well, it's because that's why they get like every manufacturer under the sun to have a go at it. It's like HTC, do you want to make a phone? Yeah, all right. And the HTC MyTouch were pretty good back in the day, and then it's like. They did a couple, and then LG did some. It's like, oh, LG, do you want to make some MyTouch? Yeah, well, yeah, we can knock something together.
But notice they don't come back after.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's
because
like
they don't sell any, right?
Yeah, it's like a comic. It's like a comic where like you keep whacking off the guy to do the job.
You know, like the Nexus devices, people line up to do it. With the MyTouch,
you get forced
it's like
at
they
gunpoint.
avoid to do it, and it's like, no, don't pick me, right? So this year they had to
It's
go
like
to
jury
Hawaii.
duty.
They had to go to Hawaii. I call them Hawaii just for the fun. Hui. So next year, I think we can look for a MyTouch device coming from possibly, and this is the rumors I'm hearing from, maybe ZTE or Pantech.
Oh yeah, because AT&T would really let their child go and play over at T-Mobile's playground.
ZTE, yes.
ZTE could probably
I love that. Those are
Pantech
homemakers.
Yeah, well, Pantech wouldn't be allowed out to play by AT&T.
Yeah, because Pantech phones do so well, and I'll tell you what, we had some Pantech devices that we were going to potentially put on this top 10 list. But just to tell you how bad their devices are, they didn't even make the worst list. That's when you know you've made some bad devices. You don't even get on the top 10 worst list.
You didn't make the cut of shit.
We had to put actual devices people have heard of. You put that on. I mean, you know.
The Pantech Sky, the Vega, the Racer.
Yes,
Burst.
yes. Those are going to be on our top 10 best devices of 2012. Alex, thanks for joining us back. I know T-Mobile just disconnected you from your Google Plus Hangout for bashing them, but you're back here in time for number 5 device. What's the 5th worst device of 2012?
Number 5, we got the LG Viper 4G LTE, which was the first LTE device on Sprint.
How can we lambaste the first LTE device?
It came with gingerbread and no LTE.
Oh my god. No LTE?
It had LTE, but no LTE network.
Yeah, that would be a problem. That would definitely...
Sprint, come on.
Wow, that's
here's an LTE device, just in case there's an LTE.
Just in case there's an outbreak of LTE.
There we go. And this has a beautiful display on it as well. It came with one of them nice 4.0 TFT displays with a whopping 4 GB internal storage, and you can see how this was a flagship device at that.
Can I just say why I find this particularly funny is that this is apparently the first LTE phone on Sprint. But I didn't know that because when the Evo 4G LTE came out, everyone was moaning like mad that Sprint have given us an LTE phone with no LTE network. Apparently, no one had heard of the LG Viper.
Or the Galaxy Nexus, or there's another one too that came out before the Evo LTE.
Let's just say we all know that Sprint doesn't have an LTE network. So the people that bought it were fools to begin with.
Okay.
There was no LTE network. Like, what were they expecting? it was going to pop up overnight or something.
They were expecting miracles.
In case there was an outbreak, they'd be safe.
Yes, in case there was an LTE network built overnight. All right, Alex, let's move on to our number 4 device. This one might be a shocker for Verizon fans, but here it is. Number 4 worst device of 2012 is...
The Motorola Droid 4.
Ooh!
I would like to go on the record and say that I was not impressed with the Droid 4.
And that's how it made it to the worst 2012 list, because
Don't piss off
Christina didn't
Christina.
like it, so we threw it on.
That's how good we are.
I actually know quite a few people who actually still support the Droid 4.
Yes,
know
there
why.
are a few people out there that, are trying to keep this thing on life support and keep it alive. It was announced last December, released in February, something like that. It was pretty, boring.
What's the resolution of this thing?
It's a TFT display.
Yes, a beautiful, 4.0 TFT with a dual-core 1.2 OMAP, 1 gigabyte of RAM. Although it did have 16 gigabytes of storage, although, I'm sure the processor couldn't have handled it.
It's like the processor that's basically in the Galaxy Nexus. It's like...
Okay. Now, the worst part of this is that it was actually a Droid device. And for Droid fans out there, they definitely, got slapped in the face with the Droid 4. They've had the Droid 3 and the Droid 2. I think some people bought them. But the problem is that ever since the OG Droid, the original Droid, they've had a real hard time coming up with a great successor. I think they're just
R2D2.
milking the original Droid franchise, with the QWERTY keyboard and not doing it any justice, not putting any great specs into it, nothing that, is going to have people running back for this QWERTY device.
What made me angry is that the Droid 2 R2D2 edition didn't do better, and I never saw like a European release of it. They should have done like a Droid phone every year and just pick like another droid from Star Wars. Then they'd make some money. I'm telling you.
I'm waiting for the 3PO device to come out. So, anyways, as we have it, poor Droid QWERTY phone keyboard loving Verizon users get stiffed once again. Hopefully, if we see a Droid 5, it'll be a real phone, because this was a horrible mess. Definitely not worth the Droid branding. And we'll keep right in tune with that. And go on to the number 3 device that ranked on our worst Android phones of 2012. What is it, Alex?
The HTC Droid Incredible 4G LTE.
Oh.
This one made it mostly because it's the Droid Incredible 2 with LTE. That's pretty much the only difference.
But hey, at least it came with SLCD, which is only like, 2-year-old technology for displays?
But is it me, or does the phone actually look really nice?
It does.
Yeah,
Nice,
it
yeah.
does look nice until you
It
see
looked
sense.
great till you turned it on and had to use it or play apps, right?
Yeah, Alex raises a very good point. If it's got sense on it, it's like a really attractive girl that's like really stupid. You know what I mean? It's like no offense, Christina. It's just like one of these things,
Yeah, there's no doubt, and this is one of those phones you kind of double take on our worst phones of the year, because it's like, it looks good, it looks sharp, it's something that I wouldn't mind. I think you even had some Beats audio possibly hanging around on there, and it's like, it's not a bad looking phone. And then you start to have to use it, and then you're like, oh, this is why it's crap.
Oh, look, sense. Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Throw that in the bin.
Yeah, exactly. And it had a whopping 8 gigabytes of storage. So that made our number 3 another disappointment to the Droids for this year. Luckily, they have the DNA coming to resurrect the Droid branding, because those are 2 of the crappiest phones you could really put the Droid branding on. Let's move on to number 2, guys. Number 2 is a personal phone I loathe. I love to hate it. And tell us what it is, Alex. What is this phone?
It's the Kyocera Rise, which is on Sprint, and Sprint always markets it like crazy, but it never sells well.
No, it doesn't. And, you know, this is the second year in a row Kyocera has made our list. Last year was their, what was that beautiful device that they had last year there?
The Kyocera Echo on Sprint.
Yes, that dual screen thing that took off.
That was amazing.
That was like, you knew it was going to be crappy before the guy opened his mouth and started talking about it. Just looking at it. And the worst part is that these guys promoted the hell out of it.
Hey guys, look, we put 2 phones together because we can't make one good one.
Exactly.
And
this phone, they had to one-up themselves. And they decided to go with a 3.5-inch display. I guess they were going for the iPhone market with that.
But it is an IPS LCD display.
I was about to say.
So it's a small but good display.
But
we can make IPS displays. They're
with
3.5.
512 megabytes of RAM.
Oh, but
Throw that out there.
but the specs keep going on this phone, guys. It keeps going. This is like amazing. They went with a whole single core 1 gigahertz processor. They used 3-year-old chips in this phone. They wonder why it didn't sell. And as well, they also went with an amazing 2 gigabytes of internal storage, so you could save all 5 of your favorite songs on this device.
Stunning.
This thing should have been a Nexus device. That's all I gotta say.
Tom,
It was
it's your
crazy,
dream phone.
amazing.
Yes, it's beautiful. It reminds me of my phone from 2010. Oh no, wait, that's the point.
It's just one of those phones like mind-boggling. All right, Alex. We finally made it to the number 1 worst Android phone of the year. Let me give you a drum roll.
It's the LG Intuition, aka the Optimus View, with that 4:3 aspect ratio, which is just so awkward to hold.
Tell us, and is that why you picked it? Is just because of it's awkward?
It looks ugly.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Especially those physical buttons.
I mean,
it is an abomination of a phone.
It is.
This
It's
is
like
serious.
even Kyocera had a better looking phone.
Easily.
It was
The
much
LG
smaller, though.
Optimus View is one of the most ugliest looking phones I've
Who did they
ever
think
seen.
were buying this phone?
I
Who did
know,
they think
and
was
there
gonna
are
buy this
people
phone?
buying it. Unfortunately, we've probably alienated some of our readers because when we put this...
Look, unless you've got massive hands, because that thing's so wide, like Alex says. I mean, 4:3 aspect ratio is probably really nice for browsing the web and some apps, and obviously using the stylus, I suppose. But when you come down to it, it's hardly practical. When all apps are built for 16:9, YouTube is that's right, 16:9. Netflix is 16:9. So on and so forth. It's
HD movies, 16:9.
Yeah.
Yes, if you love stretching out, your content and looking at things that are stretched, or you have really bad eyesight, this is a great phone for you. It didn't come with a bad processor, RAM, or internal storage. It just was one of the ugliest fucking devices made all year long, and it topped out at number 1 on the 2012 worst Android phones. All you LG View fans, don't slam me. It's not my fault you bought that thing. All right, guys.
No, we will not give you a refund.
All right, guys. That was fun. Thanks a lot for participating. And for those of you at home that have a device that is on this list, do not fear, because your contract is near up. You'll be able to get yourself a real device, something that looks a lot better. So now let's move on to our next topic of the day today, and that is, when will the Nexus 4 and Nexus 10 be available to order in the Play Store? Because it's time, guys. It's Nexus time. tomorrow is the release date. Who knows? Maybe it's tonight in some different time zones. I'm super excited about this, as I'm sure everyone at home is, all the Nexus fans. The day has finally come. We've been waiting a year since the last device for the next one, and it's finally here, ready to order. I know I'm ordering one. How about you guys? Who's ordering one? Alex, you gonna order one? Sure. Yeah. Tom, you order one too?
No, not sure.
Not sure? I know he's ordering one. Don't let him lie.
He's paying for mine.
Telling lies, people.
I'm paying for Alex's, yeah.
He's got a Nexus 10. It's going to be ordered. Not sure exactly the date of the order, but he knows it's coming.
Oh yeah. No, I thought we were talking about the Nexus 4. I've got to have a Nexus 10.
All Nexus devices.
I've got to have a Nexus 10. I mean, come on. Look, 25. No, look, I don't know why, but 2560 by 1600. Oh yes, beautiful. Just got to drop that in.
Christina, unfortunately, you've been left out of the party. You're with Verizon, who screwed up things royally last year with the Nexus. So, unfortunately, no fun for Verizon owners because their company screwed things up so bad. You still want it, though?
No.
Okay, thanks. We're moving on now.
Lying.
I do want a Nexus 10 though.
She has to say she's on Verizon. It's not like it's even an option for her, anyways. So I don't even know why I asked.
Hey, I can get the tablet.
Okay.
She's like she's bullying her.
Get a tablet, Verizon. You know. Oh yeah, okay. Get a Nexus tablet. You'll be fine.
Well, what you want to do is you want to get a Nexus 10, tether it to your Galaxy Nexus, run the battery down the Galaxy Nexus, and then go out and buy like a prepaid phone to cover that, and then you'll be sorted. Just carry 3 things around with you all times. Sorted. That's it.
Use the Nexus 10 as her phone.
So now, Alex is the one who originally wrote this story. I'm going to do the talking. He doesn't need to talk.
Oh, ouch.
Sorry. I'm going to have, actually, Alex, can you scour the web and see if we have any updates on this? Because we haven't gotten a confirmed time yet as to when the device will be launched tomorrow. Right now, the word on the street is, that we're going to be potentially a midnight Pacific Standard Time or potentially an 9 o'clock a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Google hasn't officially let out the word on when this is going to be, so it could be really any time. So don't listen to anything I'm saying. It could be out at any time. It could be out in the next half an hour. No, it'll probably be sometime tonight between 12 Eastern and I would say 12 p.m. Eastern. So there's a 12-hour window. As you can see, I'm not narrowing it down very well for you. So I suggest you just keep refreshing the AndroidHeadlines.com page for an update. Do it every minute for the next 12 hours. Eventually, it will come out and we'll have the news up for you. And we would love the extra ad revenue. It also appears, some guy from G Plus on G Plus from Nexus said, it's going to be out for breakfast, in European time. Which breakfast for European time, Tom? If they're talking UK breakfast, that's at about 12, 1 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So it could potentially be at that time. Alex, have you gotten any word on the street as to what's happening? What are your contacts telling you, Alex? What's the latest?
Everything I've heard is midnight Pacific time.
All right. So far, we'll go with that. But like I suggest, keep refreshing our website continuously for the next 12 hours, and eventually we'll have the news up for you when it drops. I guess you can always go to the Google Plus store and do the same thing, but it's better just to do it on our site.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you know what, guys? It's going to be great to have this device out. I plan on buying one, going to have it, looking towards the fun. Android Christmas is coming early. And the news over the weekend was that Google's going to be doing some of their same day shipping, I think, or next day shipping. Is that what the story was, Alex?
They're gonna ship them out the same day, so you'd get them like Wednesday or Thursday, depending on what time of day you ordered.
Which is fabulous, because a lot of times, you know, you order these devices, you get them a week, 2 weeks later when they show up on your doorstep. No, you're going to wake up the next day to a bright, shiny Nexus, and if you don't, they'll fully refund your money if it isn't there on time. No, that's just a joke. But they are coming out with actually Google into the space where they want to get into same-day shipping and stuff like that. So we're definitely going to be testing out their infrastructure and see how this works. So shipping times are going to be really nice as well too. Hopefully that doesn't affect if they're going to be in stock or not. So guys, Nexus is coming out tomorrow. Next week we'll be talking about lots about Nexus. I'm sure we're going to be seeing some source code dropping, some tricks, some tweets, some good, some bad, some ugly. That'll all be next week on our show as well too. And now we go to our special UK Tom time, where Tom is going to give us the rundown very quickly on our top 10 best Android devices for this month. We had a slew of new devices enter our power rankings. And Tom's going to give you a quick rundown on the top 10 devices for this month, as we definitely had a big shakeup in the rankings this month. Let me head it over to Tom. Tom, can you start off with number 10 and let us know what is number 10 best Android device November 2012?
At number 10, we have the Motorola Droid Razr M. Yep. Yes. No, I'm not that impressed. Then we have, at number 9, we have the Motorola Photon Q. On Sprint, it's basically what the Droid 4 should have been, or could have been. And at number 8, we have HTC's One X, the original One X. It's still chugging along.
Right on.
Still here. It's still here.
Good stuff.
At number 7, we have a phone. We have a phone from Sony.
The Bond phone.
Yes.
Woohoo!
You didn't have a sound effect for that, really.
Oh God.
You know what I meant. The Xperia TL. It's a pretty decent Sony phone. It's the first Sony phone that has managed to launch concurrently with Europe on AT&T still. So, bravo.
And it's a sharp-looking phone.
Oh yeah, it's nice. It's good looking. Not that quick though. Number 6, we've put these phones together because they're basically the same phone. The Motorola Droid Razr HD and the Droid Razr Max HD.
All right, Tom. And what's next, buddy?
At number 5, we have the HTC One X Plus, which is what you do if your HTC and your phone from the beginning of the year isn't doing so well. So instead of making a new one, you just release the same phone with more. So, well done, HTC. At number 4, we have the Nexus 4 in disguise, the LG Optimus G, which is actually it's LG's first sort of big try into the US, and for once they've done a little bit of a Samsung. It's launching on more than one carrier at the same time as the same phone. It's T-Mobile, AT&T, and Sprint. No Verizon. So expect to see the LG Intuition 3 at some time next month. Number 3, we have Samsung's Galaxy Note 2. Yeah. And number 2, we have the Galaxy S3, still going strong. Still selling lots of units all over the world. But
what's the number one, Tom?
And number 1,
tell us what the number 1 is? Let me give you some.
We have the Google Nexus 4.
Woohoo!
That's right.
Great
There's no doubt about it that the Nexus 4 is one of, if not the best Android phone at the moment. I think the Galaxy S3 gives it a run for its money, but realistically, it's a sleek-looking phone. It's cheap. There is no LTE, but it's the most up-to-date and possibly the nicest looking Android phone you can get right now. So,
and that's the top 10 Android smartphones for November 2012.
yes, it is.
All right, Tom. Now, Tom, we got a little bit of a special little announcement we would like to make here with Tom. And just so you all know that this segment is not sponsored until by this company. We are just happy to be doing a little bit of, a little bit of a plug here. We're in no way been paid for this in any shape or form. But you can pretty well guess what this is going to be. And no, it isn't about Angry Birds Star Wars that came out last week. Let me hand it over to Tom, who's going to talk about this great product from this marvelous company. And Tom, if you would like to
I cannot talk to a bird. I cannot talk to a bird. Right, well, Finland are one of the biggest coffee drinkers in the world. I think they are the biggest coffee drinker, actually. And Rovio come from Finland. So as our big beady-eyed friend over there will tell you, Rovio, the guys behind Angry Birds, are from Finland, as is the coffee company Powlig. And they recently launched Angry Birds Coffee. And they've kindly sent me some.
That is an omen. Last week, we were on here, and we were going to talk about this coffee, and I ended up screwing up and couldn't do the coffee bit, and now Tom is frozen, so I don't know if you should buy Angry Birds coffee because I think it's jinxed. There's something wrong with the actual coffee. I think it maybe, tastes like pig shit or something like that. Angry Birds pigs. No, it's a great tasting coffee. And we have actually a couple bags of it to give away. And if you would be interested in trying out some Angry Birds coffee, how about you just email us at admin@androidheadlines.com, and the fourth and fifth person to email us will actually win a bag of coffee. We'll send you off a bag of coffee for you to try on your own, and you can have a coffee and play some Angry Birds. And just remember that we were not paid for this endorsement, and we are no way in any shape or form affiliated with Rovio or Angry Birds. And if you choke on the coffee, don't sue us. So anyways, guys, that was just for fun. It's a great coffee. We do have a couple of bags for our viewers at home, so if you want to hit us up at our email, admin@androidheadlines.com, we'll send you out some fresh coffee to 2 lucky viewers. And just on a final note, I want you all to know next week we have some big surprises coming to you for AndroidHeadlines.com, some big news. Some of you might see it a little bit earlier, but for those of you that tune into our show weekly and rely upon us for your Android news, we have a big announcement to make next week. So make sure you tune in. It's going to be a fun show, and that's it. So for the Android Headlines, thank you, Christina. Thank you as well to Alex. In the meantime and in between time, that's it for Android Headlines.